Okay, Ben. I'm just going to try and walk you through these problems as best I can. I'm looking at 9 through 12. You did get them right. So I'm going to assume that you know how to identify a conic section based on its equation. And I'm just going to start with number 14, which is actually asking about number 9. So number 9 looks like this. 4x plus 2 squared Okay. Now 14 asks for the standard form of the equation. So to get the standard form of the equation, the only thing that's wrong here is that it's not equal to 1. So we're just going to go ahead and divide both sides by 64. Four divided by 64 is 1 over 16. 16 divided by 64 is 1 over 4. So the final equation is going to look like this. And it looks like the only thing that you did wrong on this step was that you said it was equal to 0, but it's actually just equal to 1. I'm sure that was probably just a careless mistake, so be careful for that one next time. The center looks like you got it right, so I'm not too worried. It is negative 2 comma 1. The vertices you got correct. Those are going to happen at negative 2 comma negative 1. Two comma 1. Negative 2 comma 3. And negative 6 comma 1. Okay, foci. That's the part you did wrong. Okay, to find the foci, it looks like you perhaps found a radical and then rounded it to the nearest decimal. But we shouldn't have rounded it. We should have basically left it as a radical. So I'm actually going to go ahead and approximately graph this before I proceed. Okay, the center should be right here. In the x direction, we're going to go forwards and backwards 4. In the y direction, we're going to go up and down 2. Graph isn't the best. That's approximately where our ellipse would be. Okay, so our foci are going to be aligned in the x direction because it's longer, right? That's the major axis. And in order to find the distance, we're going to use this equation, which looks a lot like Pythagorean theorem, where c is the distance from the focus to the center, and of course a and b are correspond to these values. So we find out that the distance from the center to the from the center to the foci are 2 square roots of 3. So the way that I would write that is we're going to take this center coordinate here, which is -2, 1, and since the foci are in the x direction, I'm going to say one of the foci is -2 plus 2 root 3, 1, and the other foci is going to be -2 minus 2 square root 3, 1. And there's our foci. So it looks like you probably just punched this into a calculator and came up with an approximation instead. I probably would have counted it right, to be honest, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, the next part is the eccentricity. Let's see. So the eccentricity is defined as the ratio of the distance between the center of the ellipse and each focus to the length of the semi-major axis. So in our case, E is just going to be C divided by A. So I think this is going to be the eccentricity here. I got the 4 from here. A squared is 16, which means A is 4. I'm just going to make sure that's correct. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the next question. Hopefully that answers all the questions you had about the ellipse. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and send this to you so that you might be able to look at it in parts.